Hello, creative people out there, and welcome back to The Right Mama, a space where we talk about the writing process, the publishing industry, and motherhood chaos. On today's video, we are going to focus a little bit on the chaos that is motherhood. If you are not aware, I am a mom of two twin girls. When you watch this video, they probably just turned 2 not too long ago. They are wonderful, crazy, psycho, beautiful little human beings, but they definitely have changed my world when it comes to absolutely everything, including writing. Before my girls were born, writing was something that I easily could do after work. I could go walk down to the coffee shop and sit there all night long and work on my book. I could stay up until 3 in the morning and finish my book. Now, it's a little bit different. By the time they go to sleep, I can write for a little bit, but I'm tired. My schedule has changed a lot since these girls were born, so staying motivated can be pretty tricky. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about how my life has changed when it comes to writing since my girls were born, and how, as a writer in motherhood, you can stay motivated. Along with the emotions and hormones and changes and transitions that you go through, it's hard to stay focused on the passion that has always been your passion, if writing is that. For me, I've always wanted to write. I've always wanted to be a writer. In 2nd or 3rd grade, when they asked what you wanted to be when you grew up, it was a writer. I wanted to be a writer. And as I grew older, I knew that the industry was tough. I knew the path to being a full-time writer was either non-existent or really, really hard to get to. And I still wanted to do it. I still wanted to make it happen. So over the years, I've gone to conferences, I've queried agents, I've kept writing. When my girls were born, I was able to keep writing. However, it got trickier. I had to focus on them more than my writing because they're my #1 focus. I had to make sure they were taken care of, and then I was taken care of, and then I was getting enough sleep. And it was hard. I still could find some time, but the motivation was lacking for a while. And recently I've gotten back into the game. I was able this past year to finish my 4th novel. I found ways to stay motivated, stay energized and excited about my passion that's always been there. So let's talk about 5 different ways to try to stay motivated during the chaos of motherhood. Number 1. Remember your passion. If writing is your passion, remember that. Try to bring your brain back to what made writing so important to you. How come writing has always been that constant in your life? The constant, that word is important because for me, writing has always been a constant. It's always been with me since the beginning. Sometimes when you're younger, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a pizza maker, you want to be a princess. Those things come and go, your interests come and go, but if there's one constant in my life, it's been writing. I've always done it. It has not gone away. I've had to do it. So telling yourself about that and reminding yourself of what your passion is keeps that motivation intact. Number 2, when it comes to motivating yourself in the crazy world of motherhood as a writer, is surround yourself with creative activities. Now that my girls are toddlers and they are on the go all the time and moving and need to get out of the house and we need to go do things, we need to find some activities that not only benefit them, but benefit me as a person when I'm out there. That may sound selfish. However, when you really think about it, it's benefiting everybody. So when we look for activities, we try to find things that are active activities, creative activities, also budget-friendly activities. That's a big one. So a lot of the time we go to libraries. There's free events there, which is amazing. There's story time for toddlers. They sing, they socialize, they work on being out in a public space, and also they're surrounded by books. That is really good for me as well as it being good for them. Just being in an atmosphere where there's creativity on the shelves and you can look at cover art, you can open up the book and read a few pages, maybe not pages, maybe a sentence, because you may have to go chase kids. Being surrounded by books in an atmosphere that's focused on creativity and that kind of energy is good for the kids, but it's also good for you. So going to libraries has been really helpful for them and for me. Another thing we like to do is go to Barnes & Noble. As many of you know, Barnes & Noble is probably your end goal for where you want your book someday. And Barnes & Noble has some great story times that they provide there for free. So we bring the girls usually once a week. Sometimes if we have nothing to do, I'll go there again. And they have story time. They sing songs, they read some new books, they have some sales they talk about. They give us little discount papers for the Barnes & Noble Cafe. Today was one of those days. So going to Barnes & Noble is not only a great experience for the girls where they can sing and socialize and run around and play with the train set and look at books, but again, I'm surrounded by creativity. I'm surrounded by new releases and new titles and cover art that I can check out and back blurbs I can look at and read. And that does inspire me. Being at Barnes & Noble does inspire me to come home, find the time that I can make to write and sit down and write. Number 3, when it comes to motivators in motherhood, is surround yourself with reminders of why books and writing and creativity is important to you. Remind yourself, put Post-it notes around. You can put a Post-it note on your bed frame saying write today or make today a creative day. You can even write in lipstick on your mirror, you are worth it, write for yourself today. You can put some of your favorite books on the shelves around your house. Maybe you have some little pieces of decor that remind yourself of your passion, going back to number 1. If you surround yourself with reminders at your home, especially once you jump into motherhood and you have a newborn, you are home a lot. You get cabin fever. You go a little crazy. So by having those things around you when your newborn is sleeping and you've cleaned, you've done laundry, you've pumped if that's what you're doing, you can sit down for a few minutes and write if you have those reminders, you know, sneaking out here and there for you to remember they're there. So surround yourself with some reminders. You can do Post-it notes. You can even have music that maybe inspires you to write about the genre. If you're a fantasy writer, you can maybe have crazy, creepy music playing. Maybe you have a playlist that just pushes your creativity and you play it and you just want to jump right into your book. Make reminders active in your home. Keeping a comfortable atmosphere at your house, especially when you have a newborn, is critical to your mental well-being, because even though being a mom is exciting and having a new little baby there is great, you start to go a little crazy. It happens. Number 4, when it comes to motivators, are find a community, especially a community of writers. This can be an AuthorTube channel, can be a bunch of author tubers, especially if you're home with a newborn. You don't have to go anywhere to find us. We're on YouTube. If you have a community on YouTube or find a community on Facebook, there's lots of motherhood groups out there. Maybe your city has a motherhood group of writers or readers. Maybe your local library has a book club once a week, so you can escape once a week and talk in a creative environment with people who can become your new friends or someone you can talk to about your writing. Find a community that keeps your creative juices flowing. Again, that could be social media. Just go on Twitter and check out some of the hashtags: am writing, writing community, am editing, am querying, NaNoWriMo. Preptober just happened. So there's a lot of hashtags you can follow. Maybe Writer Mom is a hashtag that we can put out there. You know, keeping yourself active in a community of creative minds is good when you want to make sure you're motivated to find the time to write. Whether they are moms, whether they're just other writers, keep your creative community flowing, because then the creative juices will flow right along too. And number 5, when it comes to motivators, remember why. Why do you love to write? Why is writing so important in your life that you need to stay motivated to find that time? Why? Keep asking why. That's really important when you're writing a book and when you're trying to find motivation to write a book. Why is writing so critical that you need to push yourself to be motivated? For me, writing has always been my coping mechanism. It was my escape from reality. It was a great way for me to just jump into a whole new environment with people other people didn't know and minds that other people didn't understand, and let me just escape the chaos going around me. Especially in motherhood, that's really nice to have, to jump into a whole new reality away from the dirty diapers and the laundry and the screaming and all that wonderfulness. It's an escape. It's a way to put your mind somewhere else. That's a big why for me. It also is just fun. My why is it's fun. I, growing up, would rather have sat and, written in my journal instead of played hide and seek outside. I would have rather gone up into the willow tree in my backyard and read a book. Creativity has always been a source of fun in my life. Find your why. Why is writing so important? And remind yourself of that. Make the why those reminders on those Post-it notes or the lipstick on the mirror that you put around your home. Make sure you know why, because when you know why you do it, you'll slowly find the time to make that why happen. Finding motivation in motherhood can be tricky. When you're a new mom and you have a new baby or two new babies, your mind is in a bazillion different places, and writing sometimes gets put on the back burner. Finding that motivation to stay creative can be hard, but if it's your passion, you need to make it happen because it makes you happy. It's your why. It's why it brings joy to you. By finding that time, remember, it's your passion. Create reminders around your home that tell you about your passion, how important it is to do it. Surround yourself with creativity. Go out to libraries, Barnes & Noble, activities that have creative juices flowing when you walk in the door. Number 4, find a community of mothers, of writers, of creative mothers, of writers who maybe understand motherhood, or of author tubers. Find your community of people. Again, if you're a new mom, AuthorTube is a great place to go when you're pumping or when you're cleaning or feeding your baby and you just need to get some motivation. Turn on AuthorTube and check it out. And number 5, ask yourself why it's so important to you. Asking why will make you realize why the heck you need to be motivated to find the time to write. Thank you so much for listening to this short and sweet little video about staying motivated to write in motherhood. It can be pretty hard, but it is possible. I promise you that. If this kind of content is something you're interested in, ding, 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 ring the bell and subscribe below. I post every Friday. If you have any suggestions for topics that are similar to this, or you want to hear more about something we talked about today, put it in the comments and I will do my best to make a post that's similar to that. So stay creative out there, mamas, and drink that coffee.